Hello, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are around the world, and welcome to the UK Festival Week once again. Today's session will focus on the University of Bolton, who are going to be showcasing why not only are they the best place to study in the northwest of England, but why they're the best place to study in the UK. Now, just before I hand you over to a representative from the University of Bolton, Paul, just a few house rules on today. If there are any questions or any concerns, issues, please use the chat facility. There will be a live Q&A session at the end of Paul's presentation. So please put your questions in the Q&A facility at the bottom of your screens or the top, depending on what session, on what facility you're using today. Just a reminder, if you are watching on social media live, you cannot ask questions. Please send through your questions through to gareth@postgradsolutions.com and we'll endeavour to reach out to you. Just before I hand you over to Paul, just a bit of an idea about what we're going to go through today. As per usual, there'll be a presentation from the University of Bolton today. We'll then go through postgrad.com, what makes us so good compared to other people online. A chance to win £500 off your tuition costs. Everyone is eligible, so please tune in for that and what is coming up for the rest of the week. Now, at this stage, I'd like to hand over to Paul. So Paul, if you'd like to pop your screen on and turn your mute off. Paul is a representative at the University of Bolton, and he is going to be talking you through all things a postgraduate at Bolton today. So Paul, if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Yeah, thank you very much. And good morning, good afternoon to everyone. Like being said, my name is Paul from the postgraduate team of University of Bolton. And just as been indicated, today we will run through a few information regarding the university, our courses, our entry requirement, our fees, and any other relevant information that is you need once you intend to study with us. So I have a quick 2-minute video that I would kindly want us to look. It gives a good summary of what we are as a university. Then afterwards, we will run through our presentation slide. So if we can have that up, please.
Welcome to Bolton, part of Greater Manchester. So this is the multi-million-pound Bolton interchange, providing excellent transport links across Greater Manchester and the Northwest. And this is our brand new £4 million facility dedicated to the Institute of Management. If you want to learn all about business, then this is the place to go.
Couple of things on the way to the main campus. First, let me talk about uni as it should be. So let me explain. Uni can be about how posh your name is or where you're born, or it is being one of the hundreds. University of Bolton is the 4th in UK for teaching quality and the 1st in student satisfaction in Greater Manchester. Wow, too many to mention. And we are here, the Senate House, the University of Bolton reception. The Arts and Design department is partly based here.
So we have good quality teaching, relatively small class sizes, and no additional fees for resources. Here at Bolton, we are proud to know you by your name, not your student number. Check out the hashtag on screen. I've always wanted to say that. Our passionate lecturers are here to work with you in great facilities like this big theatre. We also have a moot court, and not just for Judge Rinder impressions. Guilty. And here we are in the School of Sport and Biomedical Sciences, where our students get hands-on experience working with professional athletes.
Based at Bolton 1, a £31 million investment.
You can see our trainee nurses learning on state-of-the-art apparatus, like this simulation suite. Welcome to uni as it should be. Ever wondered how these great special effects are made? Come and learn with the best. Our students have worked on some mega blockbusters.
Okay, time for our next stop. Queen's Building, home of dental tech, 4.8 million worth of investment. We have the National Centre for Motorsport Engineering, £13 million, and that is without the cars. There we partake in professional race series. But we also build supercars here, which is kind of very cool. If you're going to work in this industry, you might as well get the experience of it. Avista Cafe offers meals and snacks, and they do great salad too. It all adds up to be uni as it should be.
Great. So who we are as a university, University of Bolton, it's not a massive university. So we are a medium-sized university with about 11,000 students, roughly about 20% of these being international. In terms of our accolade, we are a top 50 UK university. So in the Guardian ranking for 2022, we are actually ranked number 46 in the UK. We are ranked 4th in the UK for student satisfaction by the Complete University Guide, and actually in England, we are 2nd. When it comes to the Northwest, we've been ranked number 1 for teaching quality by the Sunday Times and the Good University Guide, and we also 4th in the UK for teaching quality by the Sunday Times and Good University Guide. So this gives a bit of a summary of who we are and what we've been able to achieve so far. Next slide, please. So next slide looks at where we are. So for those of us who may be looking at it from overseas especially, we are located in the northwest of England. So as you could see in the map, we show you exactly where we are. So we're very close to Manchester. So if you're traveling from the city center in Manchester by train, you get to Bolton within just 20 minutes. And it's just 40 minutes from the Manchester airport. Other closer city like Liverpool, we only are an hour away. And then if you're looking at coming or going to London, we're only 2.5 hours away. In case you're flying in from overseas and like arriving in any of those European destinations, we're only an hour and a half to Paris, Frankfurt, and Amsterdam, and then 3 hours to Berlin or Madrid. So usually from these areas, you fly into the Manchester airport, which is the nearest, and then you can connect to Bolton. Next slide. So this slide looks at our schools and then the main programs that we do offer. So first we have the School of Art, and for all these subjects, we have both postgraduate mainly, but also if there are any interest in undergraduate, we also have options for that. So we have the School of Fine Art, we have photography, graphic design, fashion, animation, as well as textiles. When it comes to that business school, which is our Institute of Management for Greater Manchester, we have a master's in international management, which is usually for people of business background, but then do not have work experience. And then for those with work experience who might want to go that route, we can take them on the MBA courses. Again, we also have masters in logistics and supply chain management. From our School of Law, we have 2 LLM programs for masters. We have the general LLM law, and then also we have an LLM specializing in international business law. But again, we have LLB law for those who might be interested in bachelor's. School of Creative Technologies, we have computing, software engineering, network and cloud network and security, data analytics, games and programming, special effect, films, and TV. So these are some of the major areas that we do offer our programs on. Next slide, please. Yeah, so continuing on the schools and courses. So again, next one is the School of Engineering. So we have specializations in biomedical engineering, civil engineering, mechanical engineering, motorsport engineering, and then a very interesting new one, which we're looking at, electric vehicle technology. And we also have engineering in that area because we all know the future is electric cars, and we've started work in that area. So we have master's program that looks at electric vehicle technology. Then also for engineers who may want to go and get business or managerial experience, we have the engineering management masters for them. For School of Health and Wellbeing, we have the 2 years MA Social Work, and we also have the MA Physician Associate. Then we have Health and Social Care and Wellbeing as a master's course. For our sports and biological sciences, we have medical biology, sports rehabilitation, strength and conditioning. And these are, again, all at the master's level. And finally, for our School of Education and Psychology, we have education and learning, educational leadership, psychology, and early childhood studies. So these are, again, major areas where we have most of our master's and bachelor's courses in. Can we move on to the next slide? Sorry. Tuition fees, these are the main tuition fees that we have as a university. Our foundation course goes for $9,750, and these are mainly international fees because I presume majority of us on this session will be international students. So our foundation course is for $9,750, and then almost over 90% of both our master's and bachelor's course is just £12,950. So that is our tuition fees. The only exception to this £12,950 tuition are the two courses that have been listed below. So our MBA, for example, goes for £14,450, and our MSc Physician Associate is £18,500. So for every course that you would apply to us as a university, especially for international students, these are the tuition fees that you would be paying. All right, next slide. In terms of scholarships, we give scholarship to every student whom we issue an offer to. So, for example, we have graded our scholarships into bronze, silver, and gold. So for anyone who gets an offer who is an international student from the University of Bolton, automatically, depending on their GPA, once we issue them the offer, we give them a £1,000 excellent scholarship, which is discounted from the tuition fees that I earlier mentioned. They don't need to apply for that. We give that automatically based on the offer given and then their GPA that they also apply to us. Usually the 2-1 is for those with the equivalent of a 2-2, or sorry, the 1,000 equivalent of a 2-2 degree if you get an offer from us. For those who have 2-1 degree or any score between or above 70% to 80%, we give them a £2,000 discount or scholarship. And those who have the equivalent of a first-class degree or 80% plus in their qualifications from whichever country that we accept, we increase the bursary or discount or scholarship to £3,000. So again, these are not applied for. We give them automatically, and it will come along with the offer letter that we issue. We also have the Provost 600K scholarship that we launched from last September, where we are giving 1 year free accommodation to some students based on academic merit. And that is equivalent to about £4,500 of cost. So for excellent or very good students, sometimes we do also give this scholarship where they would get a room in our recommended accommodation for free for a full year. I must mention that the rooms available are usually for single occupancy. So if students are coming for with dependents, then unfortunately that may not be suitable. But if they are single and they meet our requirements, then we are able to consider them for that scholarship as well. Next slide. Okay, so these generally are our entry requirement. So mainly for foundation, which I will just touch on because it might not be the main interest. We're looking at the equivalent of at least 5 GCSE passes in any country that we apply for. For those who may be looking at undergraduate courses, we're looking at A-level equivalents, or if they have any other higher qualification like a diploma, whether HND or HNC, we are able to consider that. For master's PG, which is our main strength, we look at the equivalent of at least a 2-2 UK bachelor's degree. There are a few courses we have which would require a 2-1. but majority would require 2-2. So again, we would advise that anytime you want to apply, just confirm on the entry requirement on our program website. This slide gives a few bit of information about who we are and what we focus on. We are not a Russell Group University, so we're not like so much research intensive. However, we focus much on teaching quality, which is again research informed. So we are more concerned about improving the teaching quality. That's why we have smaller class sizes, and we give adequate contact for every student. So then we are able to improve and let them get the best experience from a university. And that is why consistently for over 3 years, we've been ranked #1 for teaching quality within the Northwest. So that is the main focus for us as university, teaching quality and employability for our students. Next slide, please. In terms of the town, Bolton, it's not a massive one. So it has a population of just roughly about 250,000 people in the Northwest, but it's one of the biggest towns in the UK. Like we said, very close to Manchester and Liverpool. It has a blend of both historical buildings and places, as well as very modern facilities, and also very good scenes, not far away from the city center, where students can go on tours and have natural views. So that's a bit of summary regarding the city or the town, sorry. This slide touches on a few investments that we have made. So for example, we have Bolton 1, which is a 32 million investment into our school that usually looks at our health courses and sport programs. So it's a very new place. And then as you also saw in the video, we have the National Center for Motorsport Engineering, where we build purpose car for Formula One and also technology for those purpose-built cars. Next slide. This touches on other activities because we know students are not here just for studies. So there's also a lot of social activities organized by the student union, and then in partnership with students, where there are a lot of sports facilities, social events, open spaces for personal activities, for dining, and a lot of more activities to add on and give a better life for international students or any student in Bolton. Next one. In terms of accommodation, we only have one main accommodation that we recommend to our students, and that's the Orlando Village accommodation, which again, those who get the accommodation scholarship, that is where they will be. So there's almost about 381 rooms. The rates are quite affordable, because Bolton is also quite affordable to live in. So the bronze room is just like £99 a week, and then the silver room goes up to £125 per week. Next slide. Just a bit of updates, because we're not out of COVID yet. So our campus is fully open for face-to-face teaching for September 2022. So September 21, we had a bit of blended learning, but since things are going down, we are fully open for full-time face-to-face studies for September 22 intakes. But as measures to help, we have temperature screening at every entrance. We still provide face masks, but as we may know from the UK government, it's not mandatory at the moment, but we still have some available for those who may want to use. And that also include hand sanitizers that are also available. Next slide. In terms of the application procedure, all applications goes through our online portal, which is through our course website. So for anyone who want to apply, you go to the particular course page that you want to apply. And for every subject, we have the how to apply links. So you click on that, it takes you to a page where you are asked whether you are home or international student. And once you select the appropriate one, you will be asked to create your account from where you can submit your application. And once we get your application, we respond to that and issue offer letters through your email that you used on the application. And if you want to make any contacts with that, as the main email to contact is intadmissions@bolton.ac.uk. Some few additional information for international students especially. So our deposit for CAS is £4,500, and we expect everyone to pay before we issue them a CAS letter. We would expect them to pay the remaining fees once they arrive for enrollment. If for any reason they are not able to do that, we have the option to arrange for them to pay the remaining in 2 equal installments. So usually if they arrive in September, by the end of January, we want them to pay the first part, and then by end of April, they want to also pay the remaining. If they come in January, by April and October, we want them to pay the outstanding fees. Once they apply, within a week or 2, we can issue offer letters. But there are cases where applications are not straightforward, and we may have to refer for further consideration by our academics, and that could be longer than a week. But generally, we issue offers within a week. CAS also within a week. And then for those who are applying for visa, we want them to also send through their TB test certificate and their matured bank statement, in addition to the deposit paid, before we issue CAS. And these are my contacts in case anyone wants to get in touch with us from here for any questions, any inquiries, any information regarding the University of Bolton. And so that's it from me today. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Paul. Very good, very insightful. And it's great to hear your version of how good Bolton is. We've had a few questions come in, and we are at this stage going to engage in a Q&A. For those that we can answer your questions, we will get round to it afterwards. I promise somebody at Bolton will answer your questions. Those on social media are asking you questions. We can't get round to that at the moment. We will reach out to you afterwards. Paul, in terms of the courses available, you've mentioned quite a lot about the face-to-face, and rightly so, the emphasis needs to be on that. Do you offer any online courses?
Yes, we have, I think, a few which do not fall directly under our office. We have a separate department that looks with a distance learning area. So again, if anyone has any inquiry on that, yes, we can give them or refer them to the right source, and then they can indicate which ones are available.
Excellent. And in terms of the costs and tuition fees, you mentioned earlier in your presentation actually about the different scholarships that you offer.
Yep.
Do you work with any third-party scholarship providers? You know, there's companies out there such as Chevening, other international scholarship providers as well. Marshall's one. Do you work with any of those closely?
No at the moment, but we've applied and we're working with the British Council to try and get onto the Great Scholarship for the September 2023 intake. So we are in the process of working on that now. So once that goes through, that will be our main third-party scholarship. It's a joint scholarship with the University of Bolton and British Council. Will be given a sum of £10,000 scholarship, 5,000 from university, 5,000 from British Council for certain countries that we will come out with. But we're still in the application process. And once that is done by August this year, we will roll it out and announce for everyone to be aware.
Excellent. And can you, you briefly talked about Bolton in your presentation, actually. I mean, I've been to Bolton, and it's quite a nice place because you're close enough, like you mentioned in your presentation, to Manchester and Liverpool as well, without being too close to the hustle and the bustle of a city life. Talk to me about the lifestyle there. Are there a lot of international students in the town? You know, I think, am I right in saying Bolton is the largest town in Europe? Is there a huge culture there? Is there something to do for all nationalities?
Fantastic. So it's a massive nationality mix. We have quite a lot from Europe, from Middle East, from Asia, from Africa. And we, as a university, we even seen a huge number of applications for the last 3-4 years. And the town is very multicultural, especially with this closeness to Manchester as well. So there are a lot of events and activities, not even just in the university, but also in the town itself, in the town center, in the pubs. There are a lot of activities targeting international students and for everyone. So there are shops, there are places that people will not be missing out once they arrive. So it's a very massive place. And our proximity to those other places, as we mentioned, Manchester, Liverpool, we know these are also very lively places. So people can also just walk in on the train and they can easily catch up on those live activities going on day and night in those close places as well.
Sure. Am I right in thinking as well, am I fair in saying it's a much more affordable place to live than the major cities of,
very
Manchester,
affordable. So as I just mentioned, we have accommodation as low as £99 a week, and you wouldn't get that in any major place or city in the UK. Honestly, it's going up to 150 plus. So we have quite a lot of people who are living in Bolton, but because it's closer to Manchester and other places, they are able to easily get on the train 20 minutes to Manchester, get part-time work, get everything that they're doing there, and still be paying accommodation and living costs as Bolton rate instead of Manchester rate. So it makes us very, very attractive for international students in the last 3-4 years, as we see it.
Yeah.
So if our students are budget conscious, then we would say, yeah, come to Bolton.
Absolutely. And I think that's really important to remember. I know you've just mentioned that the links to Manchester and Liverpool. I'm going to keep talking about them because they are the two closest major cities, probably. If you're a football fan, you're not far away from anywhere. If you're a sports fan, if you like your nightlife and you like your gigs and you like going to a live events, they're not far away. And it is a lot quieter place to live. On one side, you've got countryside of Bolton, and on the other side, you've got the hustle and bustle. So
that's it.
It does cater for all different types of students, which is fantastic. Just talking about the last couple of years then, obviously with COVID and everything that's taken place, talk to me about the challenges. I know obviously there's still the, although it's not mandatory, there's still the face mask wearing and you offer that. And, the small classes definitely help with that. Talk to me about the current classes, how that's changing slightly now to being online, to then blended learning, to then face-to-face learning. How are you helping students readapt to that responsibility again?
So at the moment, even especially for those intakes, we realized that even for those that we had for face-to-face, there were travel restrictions and all that. So we were quite quick to institute blended learning, as you mentioned. So some bit of online and then also face-to-face for those who were able to arrive on time. And even now, there are still some sessions. If, for example, they need to come in 3 days a week, there are still some sessions that, let's say, they get a day online and the other 2 days just to still make up for and cut down on the contact hours. Traditionally, we are known for our small class sizes because that has been our strength, that we want to keep the classes small so students get enough contact hours and improvement in teaching. So we still maintain that, and that means that social distancing is quite possible here with us. One thing that we also did is in the classrooms, we had QR codes for all the seats that we had in there. So once students came in, we asked them to scan. So then if there are any infections or any outbreak, we are able to contact trace and make sure we know who was in and getting them into contact. And the Bolton One Center in our campus is also an NHS center for health and with the NHS hospital here. So in terms of COVID tests and other stuff, they don't need to go far. We have a facility on campus that we were giving all meant to support students. So it's been really, really helpful. And it's made sure that at least, because at a point, the rates in Bolton were going up. And with all these interventions, we're able to calm things down, that we still have students now coming in and everything is quite good now.
Yeah, and I know the university have done a huge amount as well to help the NHS over the last couple of years as well, which has been fantastic to hear. And one final question for you, Paul, before we set off. Aruna has asked, about the English language requirement, the
Yeah.
IELTS result.
Yeah.
What requirement is there? And if they don't match that requirement, what happens?
Okay, so the main requirement for English for majority, almost all our PG courses is 6.0 IELTS with a minimum band of 5.5. We know most universities will ask for 6.5 with 6.0 minimum, but we put it at 6.0. In case they don't have that, there are quite a number of alternatives. Online options, we're still accepting Duolingo. So if they're able to take Duolingo, which is quite quick, because I've had students who have been able to do it within 2 to 3 days, we accept an overall score of 100 with a minimum of 85 in each of the band. We accept IELTS indicator, we accept Pearson as well. And then for some countries, like for example, students from West Africa who may have the high school from West Africa, a few countries, we do accept that and grant exemption for IELTS. So if they have 6 in IELTS, that's fine. Assuming they do it and have 5 or 5.5, we have pre-sessional English available. So we have 5 weeks, we have 10 weeks, and then 15 weeks. Also, usually for those starting with 4.5 and higher. So 4.5 or better, or anything below 6, but not below 4.5, they can go through pre-sessional if they don't want to take any other English test.
And I think it's really important to remember, Aruna, and to all the listeners and viewers around the world as well, that Bolton want to help you. University of Bolton want to help you. They want you to come to Bolton. You know, if there are any objections, it's purely because, you know, that is the requirement, unfortunately. Now, I'm sure they will do all they possibly can to help you. It's a great place to go and study. It's a great place for you to experience as well. So, look, Paul, thanks for your time. Thanks for your help today. It's been a very much session. At this stage, we're going to just continue with some postgrad.com stuff in terms of why we are the best. So you can turn your screen off. Thank you. So postgrad.com, if you haven't been watching the rest of the week or seen one of our webinars before, we've helped over 10 million students find their perfect program, over 200 different countries for you to study at. Which is a huge coup all over the globe as well. Partnerships with high caliber international scholarship providers such as Chevening and Marshall. The best advice, everything. Paul just mentioned then about accommodation, about how affordable they are, careers, English language support, funding, all these things we've just spoken about. Visas included as well. So we also have a dedicated webinar channel which you're watching today, as well as a new to Postgrad, a podcast channel to educate yourself on all things PG related, and eligibility to win a £500 bursary is now as well. So who is eligible? Anyone. So if you're full-time, part-time, online, distance learning, thinking about studying in 2022 or 23, please head over to postgrad.com or the links that we will send you in an email afterwards and sign up. It does not clash with any other funding that you may apply for. So if you have funding from somewhere else, please still apply for this as well, and we will endeavour to sort that out for you moving forward. If you watch more of our festivals and more of our webinars, you will be entitled to potentially win a £500 bursary. So stay tuned for future webinars. What's coming up for the rest of the week? So we are wrapping things up in a couple of days' time. We have Henley Business School, which is set to be extremely popular this afternoon, 2 p.m. local time. Tomorrow we have University of Bristol, Discover Social Sciences and Law. And on Friday, we wrap things up with Fresh Accommodation, who will be talking to us about their properties around the key cities that we've heard of, including today, Bolton, and not too far away, Manchester. But for now, thank you very much, Paul, everyone at University of Bolton, for making this happen. A huge thank you, and we look forward to seeing you again in the future. But for all of you watching today, hopefully we'll see you at 2 p.m. If not, for the rest of the week, take care, thank you. And from all of us, bye-bye.